many people, when I say people, I mean the common man, actually subscribe to these falsified notions that these Khalistanis actually propagate?
So you have to break it in two parts. First is inside India and outside India. Actually, like now people are watching this, they're like, okay, why do Sikhs are 2%? Why do we have to understand this? There are two people, doesn't matter, but they would be wrong. So the thing is, all the big questions that are, challenging our country or our culture, actually, you see the division between caste, this religious fanaticism, right? They can all be traced back to actually Punjab. There were actually actions that pre-partition British did that created this whole thing. And I'm sorry to digress, but I'll take just two things. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh Empire falls in 1857 or 1849, right? And you have the mutiny. So 1860 to 1880, and you read this period there is a great, he died now, his name was N. Gerard Barrier. So from there, they come this question of quota things. So there was, the British said, the Hindus were overrepresented in services. And the Muslims would complain. And the British said, it's an open system. You take English education, you study, and you can compete in a fair market system. That was the original idea. But this Layal, on whose name Layalpur also was created, he said, no, this will become too much. Let's create a quota system. And what they found out, this exacerbated the divisions. This didn't make it rest. And this exacerbated street politics, because once the Muslim League find out, actually the British gave in. They compromised on principle. They became much more virulent. So this quota politics, again, you have to go to Punjab and you can read N. Gerard Barrier. Then in religious differences, I already said Harjot Oberой's book, Construction of Religious Boundaries, how they basically created a separate Sikh identity. And what is so fascinating, now I talked about it, there was fortnightly, there was CID report, what the British would communicate with each other confidentially. And you see, like, for example, Macauliffe that I mentioned, and there was another senior person, Petrie, they speak, created Sikhs into a separate nation. Now they don't believe they are into a Sanatan fold. And while they are saying it, at the same time, they say they are third-rate people. They are calling the gurus of the Sikhs as mercenary or as dacoits. But outwardly, they are saying the very good thing to do with Sanat. So they are playing this religious division. That is, again, you see. And the third is this Kapoor's book in 1920s onward, which becomes this Akali, this separate nationhood, and this your religion is under insecurity or something like that. So all this happened in Punjab. Now I come back to your question. So Sikhs who are outside of Punjab, they are completely one with Sanatan. So to give an example, even you mentioned Afghanistan. If you go to Afghanistan, they don't call their temples Gurdwaras. They call their temple Dharamsal. Dharamsal though is in Sanatan, right? There is no distinction between Hindu and Sikhs. The same in Sindh. The same if you go UP, they are completely one. Sikhs are spread all over India. But because in Punjab, you have created a perverse institution like SGPC, which is radicalizing, which is happening. So in Punjab, they have a limited appeal, but it is growing. Now you go to diaspora outside of India. This has again happened, and this it's also a cultural problem with like Jat Sikhs, and they have basically controlled Gurdwaras. So in Canada and in UK, again, they are a minority, but they are like maybe 2% of the population, but they have controlled 90% of the Gurdwaras, which gives them, religious muscle, which gives them money. So in terms of number, it's small, but I would not say the problem is small. The problem is actually larger.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.